I found myself quite often recently when I've been making YouTube videos introducing the video by saying, if you've just clicked on this video, there's a very important message there for you. And in some ways I feel like it's become habitual, but I genuinely feel like the videos that I'm putting out, if they reach you, they're very specific to you. And there may be something in there that you can draw from. And even if you watch the video and you feel triggered, or perhaps you feel frustrated or angry, or it triggers something in you that you would consider to be negative, there is a lesson in that, because everything in the external world is merely a reflection of our internal environment. I had someone recently comment on one of my videos, and there was a lot of negativity imbued within their comment. I could just feel it, I could sense it. And I said to them, you do realise that everything that you see in someone else is merely a reflection of what's within yourself. So I'm your teacher now, whether you like it or not, whether it's intentional or not, I'm your teacher at the minute. And so I think this is a really empowering way to go around about life. We can learn from everything. You know, Dolores Cannon used to say that this is a school, and I truly believe she's true. She's correct. I think that if we go around in that state of mind, that we're open and willing to look at everything as if it's teaching us, whether we consider it to be positive or negative. In fact, generally speaking, I think there's more lessons in the negatives. What we perceive to be negatives, then we're ripe and ready to learn, and we can make big progress. We can make a lot of progress if we take that mentality. So today I wanted to share an incredibly powerful message from my favourite God-realised saint. My favourite God-realised saint of all time. Probably one of the very few truly God-realised saints. I think many people have got far along the path. Many people have reached high levels of enlightenment, but this man reached, in my opinion, the totality. He reached God, and in his own words, saw God in a flash. And everything was solved for him then. Everything was understood. He knew everything at that point. And one of his close devotees shared the final moments before he died, which I think are so incredibly powerful. And what I love about his teachings is there's no ostentation there. There's no BS. I think a lot of spirituality now is pomp, it's show. A lot of it is bravado or appearing a certain way. And I love the fact that he's so simplistic and so direct. On Sunday, the doctor gave him an injection, glucose, but still his condition deteriorated, and the doctor gave a poor hope of recovery. Well, words failed to describe the manner of his death. He was fully conscious, and he could even speak until the last moment. He gave his last message. These are the exact words he spoke. Live right life. Worship God. That is all. Nothing more. At 6:15, he got up from his bed, sat down on the bed, asked for a drink, and said, "I'm gone," and laid himself down on his right, as usual, resting his head on the palm of his right hand, and left his mortal coil. What an incredibly direct and powerful statement. Live right life, worship God, that is all, nothing more. Now, many of you, and I totally understand this because I feel like this sometimes, I used to feel like this, get triggered by the word God. And as I said, everything that we experience externally is a reflection of our internal. So if we're feeling triggered by something external, a word, a person, a situation, it's not the situation, the person, or the word that's got the issue. The issue exists within us. How empowering is that? That means that everywhere we go in life, whatever we experience in life, we're in charge of correcting ourselves, or we have the power to correct ourselves, our inner environment. And one thing that I have noticed from being on this spiritual path for quite some time now, since I was a young boy, is that the more you correct yourself, the more the outer world also reflects that correction. Now that's really, really hard to grasp, because if you look closely, there are many terrible things going on in the world, many wars, many horrible things going on in the world. But still, if you correct yourself, or as you correct yourself, as you overcome or purify the defects within you, and by the way, I have many still to be purified, of course, but as we do purify ourselves, as we do cleanse ourselves, and allow this kind of negativity to be purged, the outer world reflects that. And no matter what's going on in the outer world, you will still maintain this centralized sense of balance and sense of peace. So if I have one message in this video, it is to look at what in the world, or who, or what words, what things in the outer world are triggering a response in your internal, and see them as direct lessons, as direct messages from the divine or from God or from whatever you believe in, and go into those areas. Look to see if you can neutralize or correct the way that you're feeling about those things. An example of this is that many people feel a lot of anger or hatred towards political leaders. Now, the political leaders themselves have not added that to you. They have just reflected something within you which is empowering now, because that gives you the opportunity to see it. So the outer world is always teaching us, because it always reflects something within us that we need to look at. So if we're feeling anger, if we're feeling frustrated, if we're feeling jealous, that exists only within us, because the outer world is merely a reflection, as I keep saying. So what that allows us to do is constantly learn by proxy, in a sense. We're learning by what is being reflected from the outside. It's like if you looked in the mirror and you wanted to, as a guy, you want to shave. You have to look in the mirror to see where needs shaving, and you trim that area. If you didn't have the mirror, if you didn't have that ability to have that perspective, it would be very hard to actually clean yourself, shave yourself. We have that same lesson, or that same form of teaching, through how the outer world reflects our inner state. Now, I personally find this incredibly empowering, because it feels to me then like you can walk about the world and you can find exactly the areas within yourself that need to be worked on. And if, for example, you find yourself being triggered by a politician, or being triggered by someone who's close to your partner, you can then meditate on that, and you can learn to transmute that feeling of anger or jealousy into love. We always want to correct the negative and flip it into a positive, in the sense of changing it from a low vibration into a high vibration. We're transforming ourselves, and that's all the inner work. Although we're experiencing it, or we feel as though we're experiencing it from something outside, we're actually correcting it inwardly, and that same inner state will reflect externally. So it's like if you're in love with someone, if you've just fallen in love with someone, you walk about and everything is imbued with that love. It's not because anything has changed externally. It's because your internal state is now being reflected externally, and everything that you see is now loving. In the same way that if you're having a really bad day, or if you're in a state perhaps of depression, I would imagine that everything outside reflects that same state of depression. So the correction isn't to be made outside, the correction is to be made inside. So I hope this video today really empowers you and shows you that transformation happens within you, and it's all of our responsibilities to correct ourselves. And I find that incredibly empowering. So good luck. Let me know how you get on in the comments. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.